Alaikum, dear parents and students. I hope everyone is doing great and keeping themselves safe. Welcome to our week 8 of distant learning. Our subject is science. We'll start with topic number 2, lesson number 1, observe changes in matter. We will go through the presentation together. Let's look into our learning intention. I will be able to explore different ways matter can change. My success criteria is I can explore that property we observe can change. I can explain that some changes to matter can be undone and some cannot be undone. And I can describe these changes may involve a change of state. Now let's look to our KWL chart. What I already know is matter, it takes up space and it has its own weight. And matter can be identified through its properties like measurable, observable, and testable properties. What I want to know today is different ways matter can change. And what I have learned is what we will look and discuss at the end of the lesson. Now let's look into lesson number 1. Remember when we created an origami using a piece of paper? Now I want you to think about it. Were you able to go back to the first step? Because I remember when we were following the steps, some of us forgot the step. So we have to go back to the first step and start over again. So were you able to go back to the first state, back to the way the paper was? Were you able to go back to the first state? And were you able to undo the changes that you have done? Mashallah, amazing. So it was very easy to undo the changes and go back to the original way it was. Now today's lesson is about changing the matter from one form to another form. Sometimes it might change, sometimes it might not change, and it might change different properties of it. So now let's look into what we are going to learn today and explore together. How can we change matter? Now we have 3 ingredients here. We have sand, we have cement, we have water. I have combined them together to create a concrete. Now I want you to remember your lesson that you took last week, and I want you to think, why did I create concrete here? For what reason? Mashallah, very creative. I created this because it is a very strong solid material. Now we change the matter by mixing all these 3 different matters together to make a concrete, because we want a solid for a purpose, and the purpose was to build the house and to have a stronger base. We change matter from one form to another form. So we change these forms and we got a different form. Now, solid matter can change. How does it change? I can change it by cutting it, by bending it, by folding it, by tearing it, by taking apart, by breaking it. And once I do this, I'm changing the properties at the same time, and you can observe that with your eyes and with your senses. So for example, you can change the shape, size, change of state. It can change from liquid to solid, solid to gas, and it can change the state, it can change the color, it can change the weight, and it can also change the texture. How does it feel like? Now matter can change. What has changed? Can you undo the change? So here I had a piece of Play-Doh and now I have used it for the turtle. What has changed here? And can you undo the change? So here you have to think, did the state of the matter change? Did it become from solid to liquid, liquid to gas? No, the state of the matter did not change. Did the purpose change, the reason that you are using it for? Yes, it changed because I'm using it to create my turtle. Is the material still the same or it has changed? Well done. The material is still the same. It is Play-Doh. And can you undo it? Amazing. Well done. I can undo it back again because I did not mix all the colors together, right? So now let's look here. Matter can change. So I have a piece of orange here. I squeezed it and I got an orange juice. Now, my question for you is, again, you have to focus on these questions. States is still same or it's different? Purpose, material, and can you undo it or not? Okay, now let's think about it first and then we will discuss it together. Amazing. So let's look. The state, is it still the same? No, it has changed. It has changed from an orange into liquid. It has changed the state. Here I had a piece of solid orange and now it has changed into a liquid, which is the orange juice. Now the purpose. Is the purpose still the same? The reason. Do you use it for the same reason and this for the same reason? Well done. I use it for eating. Maybe I'm using this for drinking. Maybe I'm using it to put in orange cake, to bake an orange cake. So the purpose is different. Is the material same or different? Wonderful. The material is still the same. It is orange. And can you undo the change? Can you go back to the piece of orange? Well done. I cannot go back to the piece of orange. That's impossible. Now, at the same time, the shape has changed. The way the orange looks here and the way the orange juice looks is completely different. The size has changed. The weight of it has changed. And also, by changing it, I have changed the state, I have changed the shape, and I have changed the texture. How does it feel like? Now, as we said here, after we make orange juice from oranges, the oranges cannot be put back the way they were, but the original material is still the same. It's still orange. Now let's look at the origami. Now here, when we made a fish from a piece of paper, now is the matter still the same? Wonderful, yes. Can you undo the changes? Amazing. Yes, it can. And is the original material still the same or it's different? Yes, the original material is still the same. I might have few lines on them, creases, but the material is still the same. It's still a piece of paper. It did not change into a gas or into a liquid. It's still the same material and the state is still the same. It's still a solid piece of paper. Now let's look into a lettuce, which I turned it into a lettuce salad. Now you have to think and tell me, what about the matter, the purpose, the material, and can you undo it or not? Well done. So let's talk about matter. The matter is still the same. The purpose is different. I'm using it for a different reason. Now, what about the material? The material is still the same because it is lettuce. And can you undo the change? Can you go back to the way it is? No, I cannot go back to the way it was. Mashallah, amazing. Now I have another example for you and I want you to think about it. I have I have water with me in a cup. I take that water, I put it into an ice cube and I put it in the freezer. After some time, I get ice out of that liquid. So now I have to think, is my matter still the same? Wonderful, it's still not the same. The liquid changed it to solid, so the matter has changed. Is the purpose the same? Wonderful, the purpose is not the same. I turned it into cubes because I want it in my drink. I want my drink to be chilled and cool. Now material, is the material still the same? Yes, the material is still the same. It is made up of water. Now, can you undo the change? Can you go back from that ice cube? Can you go back to can you take the ice cube and go back to the water, to liquid, from solid to liquid? Can you change the matter back? Mashallah, very creative. Yes, we can. We can change it back from solid to liquid by melting it. So I can go back to the original state as it was before. I can undo the changes. Now, I want you to read these pages on your book, page 50, 51, and 52, and we will do page number 53 together. Now, they're talking about matter can change. Look at the photos. Each photo shows how matter can change. Sometimes you can change the matter back to what it used to be. Sometimes you cannot change it. So I want you to circle the changes you can undo and put an X on the changes that you cannot undo it. So I'm going to give you 1 minute and then we will discuss it together. Wonderful. So let's look at the bread. So in here, I cut the bread into pieces. Can I go back to the original state? Can you change the matter the way it was before? No, you cannot change. You cannot undo the changes that you have done. You cannot change it the way it used to be before here. So no, I cannot. Here, can you go back to those individual pieces of Legos? Yes, you can. Here, can you go back? Can you undo the changes? Back to a piece of paper? Yes, you can. Here, can you go back to the cracker and you will not see any cracks on them anymore? Can you go to the original piece of cracker as it was before? No, you cannot. You cannot undo the changes. Once it's broken, it's broken. So these are the changes that we have seen, and sometimes you can change the matter back to what it used to be originally, but sometimes you cannot change it the way it was. Like the example of orange and the example of ice. Now let's look into our ASCS Good Learner feedback. Here we have our success criteria. Put a tick to the ones that you have achieved. I can explore that property we observe can change. I can explain that some changes to matter can be undone and some cannot be. And I can describe these changes may involve a change of state. Now, strength, concern, and strategy. Strength is what you're good at. Concern is the questions that you have. And strategy is the different ways that you have used to try to reach to your strength or try to find answers to your concern. So you can write your own strategy here, or you might look here, maybe the strategy that you have used might be in the strategy bank. I will read it for you. Number 1, I read more about matter changes in many ways. I observed some more changes to matter that can be undone or cannot be undone. I can explore with more materials to make conclusion and then share it. Now let's go to what I have learned. I have learned that the properties we observe can change, and some changes to matter can be undone, but other changes cannot be undone. So this is what I have achieved at the end of the lesson today. And then you have to do the online assignment and complete it with your teacher. And once you're done for the day. And if you have any questions, you can ask your teacher. We're always here to help you out. And thank you for listening, and we'll see you in another video.